Welcome, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch. Every first and third Thursday of the month, we're bringing you all the outreach and crime news you need to know from our Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station with a very special guest today, Deputy Josh Dubin from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station Crime Prevention Unit, broadcasting from the third largest city in Los Angeles County, right?
The third largest city in Los Angeles County.
Oh, he's bringing back the music. Oh,
Bring it. Listen, Perfect Hair. If you want to listen to cops, let's go.
Yeah.
Bring it.
You can watch
Go ahead, bring it back
reruns
in.
when the World Cup's over. All right, we got to do our show here if that's okay with you. We got a lot to talk about. We have a very, very special guest today, Mr. Tony Batista from the Search and Rescue Team is going to be calling in and talking to us. He's actually in the middle of helping them out, the Search and Rescue Team with a rescue in Fillmore, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But we want to talk about summertime activity, what parents should know for their kids. And wanted to talk about some, curfew violations and things that have been going on. Barbecue competition to support our local jail, and special victims sting. So a lot to talk about on the show today. Josh, how are we doing?
Doing great. How are you? My voice is coming back.
It's good. Yeah, you had a long weekend, right?
I had a little mini vacation this weekend.
Little mini vacay, if you will.
And my voice is coming back now, so that's good.
Did a little bit of yelling.
A little bit. We had a good time.
Volumes get raised.
Yeah.
Good.
Moved over to the Las Vegas area for a little quick weekend getaway, and now we're back.
All right. Well,
So,
we're back. We're going to talk about the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station. Just recently, actually, I wanted to mention before we really get going, a conviction. We got news from the LADA office. It's up on hometownstation.com. There was an investigation by Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station deputies. They received a service call with animal control.
Right.
And this was back in February. A woman, Desiree Martinez, recently took a plea deal in connection with that. Deputy Dubin, are you aware of the circumstances around that call? You were kind of
we did a couple interviews about that. It was an animal cruelty case that took place out in the Neenack unincorporated area. It's in our far end where our patrol area butts up to Lancaster Sheriff Station's patrol area. And ultimately, our Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station patrol deputies went out there, investigated the crime into animal cruelty, and I don't remember what type of dog it was. Do you?
It was a pit bull mix.
Pit bull mix. That's right. And it was very severely beaten. And the good news of the whole case was that the animal was able to be rescued, saved, and it was ultimately, I believe, it was adopted out of the LA County Animal Shelter out of Lancaster, and it was adopted, and it is in a good home now.
And the woman received a 1-year sentence. She's actually still in jail for that, and she can't own or take care of a pet for 10 years. So that case just wrapped up. That happened yesterday afternoon. I wanted to mention that. It was a, glad the dog's okay. And,
right.
There was
It was good, and it was, well done to the person that adopted it.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Absolutely. And we also wanted to talk about summertime activity. There's been, this time of year, we've talked about it before. You see an increase, a pickup in the activity of what's going on, and you guys probably get a few more service calls. There was some numbers about reports for loud parties that you guys get. Obviously, you see an increase around this time when there's more parents gone on vacation maybe sometimes, and,
of course,
and teens at home. Not to
wonder
say
what
that
Perry Smith did when he was growing up.
I don't know about house parties in Sunland, but in the Santa Clarita Valley,
they didn't have Twitter back then, though.
That's true.
So you couldn't put your house party on Twitter.
We didn't even have MySpace when I was in high school.
Right.
That's how old I am. So
right.
To give you some kind of an idea.
We put out a couple different things, and we're doing a couple different things at the station, getting ready for summertime. Well, I guess summertime's kind of here now,
It's here now. Well, the June 22nd, right, is the official,
Is that the summer solstice?
I believe it's, yes.
You like that? You like that, Perfect Hair?
You got all Roman on me.
Write that down.
Perfect Hair's got it on his calendar.
Of course he does.
He knows.
We're doing a bunch of different things right now. We put out a nixle about, what's going on at the station. We put out, how many calls for service last year we responded to in regards to large parties, loud music complaints, and different things like that. And then now what we're doing is we're increasing our Paseo patrols, our bike path patrols, and we could talk about a robbery arrest also that was just made. That's been a lot of media attention lately regarding that.
Real quick, 3,330 calls was going to say 3,300. For service, how many of those happen during the summer? Calls for service involving either large parties or loud music complaints.
That's a great question, but
Ballpark.
I don't have a ballpark, but think about it stays lighter longer. It's nice outside during the summertime. People are outside having barbecue. Speaking of that, you have not invited me over for a barbecue. Thank you very much.
That's awkward. It's going to put me on the spot right here.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Neither has perfect hair.
That's true.
Unless you guys are barbecuing and not inviting me.
Well,
all right. Keep going. Let's keep going.
But yeah, so people are out longer and they're having a good time. And so we receive more, theoretically, during the summertime, more calls for service regarding loud parties that go late into the night, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock into the evening hours.
Not only that, but also I would imagine curfew is much less of an issue when there's school nights involved as opposed to during the summer.
Absolutely.
You have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. according to Santa Clarita City ordinances and Los Angeles County, right?
Right. And, that's pretty commonplace, all over L.A. County and in most parts of California, actually. So we have, after the break, I think we can talk about our curfew operation that we did, some narcotics juvenile suppression curfew operation.
Some Paseo patrols.
Paseo patrols.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS, AM 1220.
What you want, what you gonna do? When shall the jungle come for you?
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, where we were talking about how I haven't been inviting Dubin to barbecues, apparently.
Seriously.
And that's going to change.
Right.
It's going to change, despite your babbling.
Thank you.
We'll bring you back on.
Thank you.
And we'll have a little 4th of July, maybe.
Awesome.
All right. Now, as promised, we have a very special guest, Tony Batita from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station Search and Rescue Team. Tony, can you hear me? We're working through some technical difficulties. I blame Mark Perfect Harabina.
I do too.
Tony, can you hear me now? All right, Mel. He is a search and rescue team volunteer, and they are an active mission. And while we're getting Tony on the line, I just want to introduce the situation that he's at right now. 2 off-duty Arcadia firefighters were hiking in some backcountry area in Fillmore recently. And
is that the Los Padres National Forest
most
area?
likely, yeah. It's a big area.
Right.
A lot of wilderness there. 2 experienced hikers were going on a hike. They had a pack. They were going on a 4-day camping trip.
You guys hear me now?
There we go. There's Tony. Yeah, Tony.
Okay, great.
Thanks for calling us in.
No
I was just introducing the situation where you're out in Fillmore. I was kind of letting our listeners know. Essentially, there was 2 experienced hikers who were off-duty firefighters from Arcadia, and they went out on a 4-day hike. And then one of them left the campsite essentially to chase after his dog because his dog ran away from the scene. And the friend he was with hasn't seen him since. And then 2 days later, he walked out and reported that his buddy was missing to Ventura County Sheriff's Station. And so you guys have been helping, as part of the search and rescue team, you were one of several teams that were brought onto the scene and kind of helping the search for him, right, Tony?
That is all correct, except the 2 firefighters. One was very experienced, who's the guy that's missing.
Okay.
And his buddy had never been out before, so he kind of...
Oh, okay.
He actually ran into 2 fishermen after looking for his friend. And those fishermen helped walk him out, and they were pretty confident that he wouldn't have survived if they didn't happen to run into him. He was not doing too good, so luckily they helped him get out and get to his car so he could go for help.
And that was kind of what Eric Busho from the Ventura County Sheriff's Department was saying, Ventura County Sheriff's Station was saying to me, as far as just Mike Herdman was the gentleman that you guys are looking for, and you guys have been actively searching since Sunday night?
Ventura started the search. I'm not sure what day. We didn't get involved. They didn't request L.A. County until yesterday, so I'm not sure when it actually started. I think it took them a couple days to hike out, so probably just Sunday morning sounds about right when Ventura started the search.
And now I understand that the search effort has grown a little bit, and in addition to the search and rescue team, Department of Homeland Security has people out there helping with helicopters.
Yeah, well, actually drones. So they don't want to call them drones, but and it's not. It is Homeland Security, but the drones came from a company in Monrovia. Oh. So they've got a fixed wing and a helicopter, and they're going to be flying the canyon, which will be great because it's a steep canyon. You know, some of the places are 500 feet to 1,000-foot cliff walls, and the helicopter's been coming in and picking us up and dropping us off. But there's parts of it that's just too narrow for a big helicopter to get in there and really search. So this should help.
And I have to add, Reserve Deputy Tony Batita sent me this morning a video that he took that is now up on our station Facebook page. If you go to Facebook and search Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, or on our Twitter, which is at SCV Sheriff, I posted the video taken by Deputy Batita yesterday, and it shows just how rural the canyon is and how rocky it is. And that Ventura County helicopter was able to get really, really low in that canyon and hoist some of our search and rescue members from Santa Clarita out of the canyon when they were done searching that particular area.
Yeah, and also in those canyon areas, it gets dark fast because it's shaded. So that's a concern, is to get all the search teams out of there before it gets too dark. And the two Ventura helicopters have just been great coming. I mean, all day, 50 or 100 missions probably coming in and dropping us off and picking us up. Yesterday, the first time working with Civil Air Patrol, which provided communications, because it's a very rural area. There are no radio repeaters for their sheriff or fire department back there. So this Civil Air Patrol airplanes all day yesterday flew over the top of us and relayed communications, which was great.
So talk to me a little bit about, Tony, from your training, when the helicopter picks you up and it takes you over there, then what are you doing once you get lowered into that situation, or once you're put into a rescue mission?
Well, it started as, the very early hours of a search. We send out what's called a hasty team, and their job is just to go in quickly, not spend a lot of time, and just look for, the obvious, the guy down laying, laying in the river, or laying on a trail, or, sitting on a rock waiting for rescuers. And then when that fails and you don't find it, then you have to start going in with more focus. And it takes a lot more. Like my assignment yesterday was to go into a certain area and do a grid search over part of the river. It was maybe a mile was our search area. We hiked for 3.5 hours, and then when I looked at my GPS at the end, we only covered 0.1 miles.
Oh, geez.
That's how rugged it was. But we weren't just hiking down the middle of the stream. We were looking under boulders, climbing up, looking under rocks. There's a lot of not really caves, but overhangs of big rocks where you'd think somebody, if it was cold at night, they would crawl up in there. So we did a very thorough search of checking all of that.
And you haven't seen? I heard there was a sighting of the dog yesterday, but he hasn't. The dog that Mike Herdman was looking for hasn't been found. And Mike Herdman, I mean, have you guys seen traces of him? Has there been any hope, any positive signs so far yet?
Haven't heard anything today as far as spotting the dog again. Yesterday, one of the Ventura County teams saw the dog, got close to the dog, but the dog was very skittish and ran away. And they kept trying to. They're actually tracking it. And there's a lot of other wildlife up there, so trying to look at dog prints and deer prints. They in certain terrain, especially wet near the water, they kind of look the same. So
right.
They started tracking the dog for a while, and then they ended up losing it. And they actually flew the victim's wife up there and landed her in the area where the dog was, and hoping that maybe the dog would come out for her voice.
Right.
But no luck so far on that. And it doesn't mean that the dog's anywhere near where the victim is either. It's been days. But it's definitely some kind of a clue, which is better than nothing.
Right. Now, if I could, Tony, if we could ask you to hang on for one more segment. We have to take a quick commercial break, and then I have a few more questions for you about the search and rescue team.
No problem.
All right. Thanks, Tony. Hang on the line. We'll be right back on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.